Another good morning, everybody. 9 a.m., 24 degrees on this Monday. Thanks for starting your morning with us. We've got Patrick up on the roof right now. We are streaming through 9:30 this morning. You are up on the roof, right?
I am here. Good morning.
You're here. Hi, how are you? What's going on up there?
It is cloudy. It is breezy.
Yeah,
and,
I'm
there's
looking
no
at the anemometer behind you. That thing's really spinning.
It's spinning a little bit, but maybe the better check is the hair situation. And it's not a disaster yet.
There's
so.
a lot of flow.
I do have a lot of flow that needs to be taken care of.
Can we talk real quickly? Remember a couple weeks ago when Axel went up on the roof and I asked, where did Axel get his name? I'm curious about that. And you're like, I have no idea. And apparently you were the one who named him.
I know.
Did we figure this out yet?
I think it was like 8 years ago, and I can only think of two Axels. One is clear, Axl Rose.
Right.
But there's also Axel Foley. Do you know who Axel Foley is?
I do not, Patrick.
Okay, Axel Foley is from Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's Eddie Murphy's character. Axel Foley. So maybe that's where I got. I don't know. So
you can't remember what you had for dinner last night, let alone how you named our soldier Axel.
It's a blend of a heavy metal band and a 1980s movie classic, comedy classic.
Maybe.
So there we go.
Okay.
But that's how we got it. All right. Good morning, everyone. A little breezy up here. Quiet weather, though, under mostly cloudy skies. And a little bit of snow is on the way for tonight. Taking a look at the forecast, looks like this. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Let's see. There we go. Snow is on the way, as you can see. It looks like later this afternoon and this evening. There are the thickening clouds out ahead of a warm front that extends from Chicago through Fort Wayne and down towards Cincinnati. And that'll be here this afternoon with some snow showers, as you can see there. Temperatures in the mid-30s. Tomorrow morning, it will be snowing early. But as you can see, there's a transition to the west of that area of snow. And that's where we'll see a mix to drizzle and maybe some light rain as temperatures climb from the 30s to, in the afternoon, around 40 degrees with a bit of a breeze and drying out. But there could be a little, again, some drizzle. We'll put this all in motion. Here comes the snow showers as we head into the afternoon and evening. A burst of moderate snow overnight, which transitions to drizzle or some light rain as we head into the afternoon. Wednesday will be cooler. A push of cooler air will trigger a few flurries or snow showers early Wednesday morning in the hills, and then dry weather on Christmas Eve. And then Santa is going to be on the approach. This is 8 o'clock, so he's got 4 hours to get here. And it looks like Christmas Eve, we'll see temperatures right around freezing to start, but the day itself, Christmas Day, will feature will feature a mostly cloudy day with highs in the mid-40s. Then on Friday, the day after Christmas, low 40s, pretty good chance of rain, and then dry Saturday, and then from rain to snow. We're going to watch Sunday carefully. We've got a Bills game, of course, against the Eagles, and there could be some weather to contend with on Sunday. It's ways out there, but something, Melissa, we have our eyes on.
As you'd like to say, something is afoot.
Something is afoot on Sunday.
Okay, and as for leading up to Christmas and those who are hoping for a white Christmas, any snow that we get between now and then is really probably going to melt by Christmas.
Yeah, it'll melt tomorrow by the afternoon. But, still, the hills, ski areas, places like that, there's still a healthy snowpack, so there will be a white Christmas there.
Well, that's good for them. Okay, very good. Patrick, thank you. In the news this morning, we are expecting Amherst police to soon identify the driver and the victim involved in a deadly hit and run over the weekend. The crash shut down the road Saturday night between Harlem and Concord Place for several hours on Kensington. According to police, a 70-year-old woman was in the middle of the road when she was hit by a car. They say the driver took off before police got there. But a short time later, Amherst police say they went to the home of the 57-year-old driver and arrested her on several charges, including driving while intoxicated and vehicular manslaughter. As they continue to investigate, Amherst police are asking anyone who might have any security footage or dash cam footage to contact them at the number on your screen, 689-1311. And developing now, 3 Rochester police officers and a civilian are still recovering this morning after a violent close-range shooting Friday night. Police say all 4 were shot during a confrontation that ended with the suspect dead. And here's what we know right now. Police say a man called 911 Friday night claiming that his girlfriend's ex was trying to break into her home and may have been armed with a gun. Well, 3 officers responded and found a man on this side of the house. According to police, that man pulled out a gun and began firing, so officers fired back.
The suspect then ran from the scene, but within minutes, an officer located him near the intersection of Arnett Boulevard and Thurston Road. Upon this officer ordering the suspect to stop, the suspect again immediately pulled out a handgun and shot the officer. That officer and additional officers returned fire and struck the suspect multiple times, killing him.
And one of the officers has been released from the hospital. The other 2 officers and that civilian are still being treated. Rochester police say the investigation's ongoing and there was body cam footage, and they say that will be released at a later time, although they have not given a timeline. It is 9:06 now on Daybreak, and the town of Grand Island is at odds with the developer. It's all over 207 acres of land that they have since donated to the Seneca Nation. The land was sold to the Seneca Nation for just $1 after a Quest development spent years trying to build large-scale projects on that site on Long Road near the 190. Now, at one point, the company had planned an Amazon distribution center there. But the president of the Seneca Nation says it was a difficult process for the developers, so they decided to donate the property.
Just a certain frustration on their part, trying to create something, create revenue for the people of Grand Island. Unfortunately, they couldn't get this deal to happen. We just have to make sure that we vet this property, we see what's out there, and to be able to put something on that property that's viable and that's going to create a great revenue stream for the Seneca Nation and Western New York, really.
The dispute has also led to a lawsuit. Court records show a Quest is suing the town of Grand Island, claiming zoning changes block development. We have reached out to Grand Island officials, and we're waiting for a response. Today, Buffalo's comptroller is facing a critical deadline. She needs to file paperwork by the end of the day to appeal a ruling against her in the battle with acting Mayor Chris Scanlon over the city's budget. Daybreak's Natalie Foss has more.
If the comptroller misses today's deadline, then the stay that was granted and then extended back in November would be over, and the September ruling would stand. That ruling back in September from Judge Kolyakovo was that Barbara Miller-Williams failed in her duties, violated the city charter, and mandated that she go to the bond market. She appealed, which granted her an automatic stay. Late last month, the acting mayor tried to get that stay lifted, and the comptroller was given until today to get all necessary paperwork in order for her appeal. This is what the acting mayor and comptroller had to say when we spoke to them back in the fall.
Continued borrowing is merely a Band-Aid solution to avoid making the tough decisions that are immediately needed.
I am sitting here dealing with a comptroller who's making arguments that aren't rooted in much sense, quite frankly, being advised by someone who's the architect of the city's financial problems right now. And like I said, it's very frustrating.
The comptroller maintains that, quote, the bond issuance outlined in the 2025 capital budget was financially irresponsible and posed a risk to the long-term fiscal stability of the city of Buffalo. If the city comptroller does not file paperwork by today, the stay is lifted, and that previous ruling, which requires Miller-Williams to go to the bond market, will stand. On your side at City Hall, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
Natalie, thank you. The Justice Department continued to release thousands of records related to Jeffrey Epstein over the weekend. It comes as the DOJ faces growing questions over how those files were being rolled out and why some documents still have not come to light. Alice Barr has the latest from Washington this morning.
Mounting frustration this morning among members of Congress and survivors of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein after the Department of Justice failed to release all the Epstein files by a Friday deadline required by law.
They're flouting the spirit and the letter of the law, and I won't be satisfied until the survivors are satisfied.
The House Republican and Democrat who've led the charge on forcing the document's release now threatening to hold Attorney General Pam Bondi in contempt or impeach Justice Department officials, pointing to the thousands of documents still not released and hundreds of blacked out, redacted pages.
The courts are going to find that these were excessive.
Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche defending the document rollout in an interview with NBC's Kristen Welker.
We're going through a very methodical process with hundreds of lawyers looking at every single document and making sure that victims' names and any of the information from victims is protected and redacted.
Blanche addressing outcry over photos and documents posted and then removed, including this one with an image of President Trump alongside photos of several women that the Justice Department later reposted.
We learned after releasing that photograph that there were concerns about those women and the fact that we had put that photo up. So we pulled that photo down. It has nothing to do with President Trump.
The DOJ underscoring that no redactions were made to protect prominent people, while a group representing survivors called the release a step backward for transparency and accountability. If Congress did vote to hold Attorney General Bondi in contempt, she could be detained until the Justice Department complies with the law. The deputy AG says the DOJ already is complying, and Bondi posted a statement reaffirming that the Justice Department is committed to bringing charges against anyone involved in Epstein's crimes. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll talk Sabres and Bills coming up after the break. Well, the Bills are on the brink of another playoff berth thanks to a win yesterday in Cleveland. Now they could have their spot in the postseason clinched by this time tomorrow. NFL insider Vic Carucci joined us earlier this morning on Daybreak.
Well, it's kind of been a continuing theme. I mean, what we've seen right along is either the slow starts or fits and starts, up and down, whatever you want to call it. But that is what this team has been doing more often than not. I think the important focus, and even though it sounds like their way of defending it, but listening to players and coaches after the game, or the coach, I should say, Sean McDermott, after the game, to sort of embrace the idea that, okay, the win is a win and the style points don't matter, but the timing does. Winning a game in late December is what you're supposed to do if you are going to contend as a team.
Right, and thank goodness that James Cook showed up yesterday to help the offense pull out that victory. As far as the defense goes, Vic, the defense was clutch in the game. They gave up that touchdown on the first drive, and that was pretty ugly. But then they had a few key plays. So how reassuring was that performance yesterday?
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out to me was Greg Rousseau. We have not seen Greg play that kind of game. He has the 2.5 sacks. He had a career high 7 hits on quarterbacks, but it was timing of that too. Melissa, we're looking at what he did in the final 5+ minutes of the game in terms of sacking, in terms of pressuring, and he not only gets a big sack of Shedeur Sanders late in the game, but then also forces what was the intentional grounding play that helps seal the game. Now, back to the offense, of course, you know the scare with Josh Allen and the foot injury that happened on really a boneheaded play, using his term, on when he did what Shedeur did at the end, moved his way all the way back to his own end zone and barely avoids a safety. But I think that was a sign of, a guy losing himself in the moment, but also the more important thing going forward. He says he's fine. Now, he finished the game, and obviously you saw him at the very end seal it on the third down run, third and 1, and he runs for the 2. So his mobility was still there. Obviously, we'll get an update on that later today.
Yeah, we'll all be looking for that and make sure he's not limping at all. And finally, Vic, a big one on the schedule next. The Eagles come to Highmark Stadium on Sunday. So what are your initial thoughts on this upcoming matchup?
Yeah, it's interesting because the Eagles Of course, they win over the weekend. They won Saturday, but they're getting healthier, perhaps at the right time, getting some key people back. Jalen Carter on the defensive line and Lane Johnson on the offensive line. And those are two difference makers at their respective spots. So the timing for the Bills not so great in that regard. And for the Bills' sake, you know, this is all about trying to win out and keep alive what are faint hopes now of winning a division championship. New England, of course, helping itself big time with the win against Baltimore last night. But we'll see where it goes from here. It's you know, still in survival mode. They've got to get that playoff clinched. It could happen, of course, tonight, depending on what the Colts do against San Francisco.
Yeah, if the Colts lose, the Bills clinch that playoff berth. So we'll be watching that one closely. Vic Carucci joining us live this morning on Daybreak. Thanks so much for being with us, and Merry Christmas to you, Vic.
Yeah, I think that was a tough watch.
It didn't feel like a win.
No, it didn't. And you know, I appreciate the coach having a really positive post-game, you know, rah-rah moment in the locker room. But I got to believe every player and every coach went, whew.
Yeah. At the same time, the rest of the league might be looking at the Bills and being like, okay, they won another game.
They won another game.
They're 11-4. And that record sounds great, but it just doesn't feel that way.
You know, Pete Gallivan is on vacation. You know why? He's trying out for receiver.
They'll take anybody at this point.
They'll take anybody because there were some passes. Brandon Cooks had his second drop. Dawson Knox. He catches that ball 9 times out of 10.
Right.
And it's just his.
That is a JV player.
Right.
I mean, I think I could even catch that ball, and I don't.
Yeah, there were a couple. I think there were 3 key drops. And, you know, Allen wasn't on point. Maybe injury related, who knows? But, yeah, you couldn't believe and not only that, the Browns were missing some key players.
Right. The Bills went into that game, I think, 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
So they, played, again, Philadelphia on Sunday, and...
Hey, at least, say that again.
No, I don't.
I was just going to say, at least we're not the Kansas City Chiefs. Not only is their quarterback have a torn ACL.
And now their backup.
And now their backup has a torn ACL. They're out of the playoffs. They got crushed yesterday. Right. I mean, they've obviously, they're like, we got to reboot for next. I mean, so things could be worse.
Right. We were talking as that story was running, and I think that we're all preparing ourselves to not make it to the Super Bowl this year.
Maybe a playoff
the Bills
win,
were, such a talk of being a Super Bowl team, a Super Bowl contender. They're not playing Super Bowl level right now. I think it would be harder and more heartbreaking for Bills fans to take if the Bills were playing at Super Bowl level and then all of a sudden lost in the playoffs and dreams were dashed once again. But right now it's like, well, it'll be nice that, they're in the playoffs, but they don't necessarily play like a Super Bowl team right now.
If they can find a way to play a complete game. I mean, every game I feel this season, at least most of them, have had one good half, one bad half.
Moments of greatness.
And then obviously a week ago, holy cow, they came back, and maybe this is a team, so maybe you just you lay an egg and move on and get that game, even though they won, move it on. And
will Ed Oliver make a difference when he comes back?
100%.
I hope so.
They keep, And I have another question. I mean, what's his name? Our running back, James Cook. Amazing in the first half.
Right.
110 yards in the first half. Now, granted, every team makes adjustments, but I mean, he was kind of shut down in the second half.
Why adjust away from him?
Right. So, will other teams figure out a way to stop him? Because they did.
Well, they know that he's our one big weapon besides Josh Allen.
Yeah. Okay. I got that off my chest.
I know. It's a victory Monday. We should be smiling right now.
Right.
The Sabres are something to smile about, though. This is really cool. And we will talk more about this win streak and perhaps the best team in the NHL right now. We'll talk about that coming up after the break.
Wow.
It is undeniable. The Buffalo Sabres are the hottest team in the NHL. With a pair of wins over the weekend, their winning streak has hit 6 games, which is the longest in the league. We're not allowed to show you any of the highlights as we stream right now, but you can see the practice video as we talk about it. The Sabres beat the Devils last night 3-1. They fell behind early, but then they rallied to a 3-1 victory. Josh Norris, Zach Benson, and then Peyton Krebs had the empty netter. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was great in net. Despite all of the ups and downs this year, the Sabres are just 3 points out of a playoff spot and only 7 points behind the top team in the division. So they will go for 7 in a row tomorrow night in Ottawa.
What is this, the longest in the league? Does that mean no other team
has a 6-game win streak? I don't know if it's
as
right
of now. It's got to be now, not
Right,
this season.
current.
There's no way another team hasn't had a 6-game. I don't know,
but currently, if other teams are losing and winning,
it must
losing
be
and
now.
winning, then
Must be now.
right.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, they had the 3-game win streak, then they changed GM, and it kept going. And
Yeah, I don't know if he's just putting the fear of death in everyone, saying like if everyone felt safe under Kevin Adams that he's not going to make any changes. He's not going to get rid of anybody, and then all of a sudden you have this new guy come in, Kekalainen, and maybe they're like, oh, he could probably get rid of me if I'm not playing up to snuff.
If I was a player and the new GM told me to do something based on what I can tell from him and I'd do it. He's kind of got.
You're scared by Jarmo Kekalainen?
I just think he just looks like he commands respect. I don't know. That's just
And he's changing the brass underneath him too. You wonder how safe Lindy is. But if they keep winning, then maybe Lindy is safe.
But yeah, what other changes they made? They hired two.
Well, I mean, the assistant GM, they hired a new one, and I believe a couple other front office changes. So, hey, we'll let you know what happens tomorrow night in Ottawa. Tomorrow night in Ottawa. Okay. And so we'll have the highlights on Wednesday on Daybreak. Fun to watch.
Sure.
Kind of shocking, because this time last year they were in the midst of a 13-game losing streak that just kind of sealed the deal for another season without the playoffs.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll come to an end. There's a lot of time left, though, in the Sabres season. All right, another fun story that we're following today. We still have a chance to have $1 billion holiday. The Powerball jackpot is still growing. Nobody won Saturday's drawing. Somebody in Western New York did win a $50,000 Powerball ticket, and that ticket was purchased at the Tops on Elmwood. Now, as for the jackpot, it is projected to be $1.6 billion when it's drawn tonight at 11. It could go up, though, throughout the day. Will you play?
Not really a lottery person.
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
When it's over $1 billion, I do.
Can I tell you a quick funny story?
Of course.
So years ago, I was working in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the lottery, the ball that you see, the picking of the balls took place at our studio. And I was working a weekend, and they wanted me to be the person that picked the balls. So this is how it works. It's high security.
Sure.
I mean, there's no money in there, but it's just all the equipment needs to be completely safe.
And making sure you're not palming certain balls.
It is high. I'm like, this is just the New Mexico lottery, but no, it's very serious and intense. And I'll never forget, one of the balls came down, those 5, 6 balls, whatever. And there wasn't like a screen that told me what the number was. You had to look on this little ball.
Is it a 6 or a 9?
I can't remember what number I was confused on, but I'm like, 4, 3, 6?
You're a meteorologist. You're supposed to be good with numbers.
I don't think this was quite a while ago. Now that would never happen, where they would have
just a
news people,
celebrity, a celebrity ball caller.
I was so nervous because if I mess this up, there's no redo. Because it has to be live. So anyway, seeing that very nice woman picking the balls, it's an intense job, and for her, when you're dealing with 1.5 billion, you better get those numbers right.
Right, and that's a national job for her.
Right.
But we had in New York State, with the New York State Lottery, had Yolanda Vega.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, everybody knows Yolanda Vega. She just talked with this amazing accent and was so enthusiastic as she was calling the numbers, and so it was almost like must-see TV. Was watching Yolanda Vega call the numbers.
Right, oh, that's so funny.
So when she retired, it was sad, or pass the torch on to someone else.
Well, nobody wants to be the person that has to replace Yolanda.
I know.
Because it would have this. Yeah, that's funny. And how long ago was she here?
Oh my gosh, I think I watched her when I was 10, 15 years old. So it was a good 20
That's cool.
Years ago. But it's one of those names also that you just never forget.
Yolanda Vega.
Yes,
Cool.
I'm Yolanda Vega with tonight's New York State Lottery.
Right. That's
Anyway, world record looks like it was broken here over the weekend. Of course it revolves around wings. It was at the convention center. The Revelis Family Foundation brought hundreds of people together for the largest chicken wing eating competition. So it wasn't about the number of wings, it was about the number of people involved in the chicken wing eating competition. Saturday at the Buffalo Convention Center, and they didn't just do it to set the new world record, but they also wanted to raise money for Horizon Health Services. And according to the Guinness World Record book, the oldest record for the largest chicken wing eating contest was set back in 2018 by Jeff Bezos and Amazon Web Services with 397 people. The Revelis family says that they had more than 500 people, and actually Horizon posted on Instagram that there were 900 people there. So they shattered the record. They just needed official from Guinness. Well, there you go. Very nice. Good to have that record here in Buffalo again. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day.